Did you guys hear about the large data center that went up about 20 miles south of Atlanta? And there was an affluent community that was complaining that their water pressure was super low and nobody could figure it out. Well, the county finally got to the bottom of it, and there were two industrial sized water lines connected to the city's water lines. One was feeding the data center and didn't have any paperwork or authorization, so they weren't being billed for that water usage. The second line also fed the same data center, and they were hooked up essentially illegally. And in 5 months, they consumed 29 million gallons of water without being charged for any of it. And when I tell you, as voters, we have to radically change and not vote for candidates that are taking special interest money, including by the AI industry, AI lobbyists, that's an understatement. You can't say that these things bother you and that they're wrong, but turn around and vote for politicians that are going to sustain them. Yeah.
So is everybody starting to see the writing on the wall now? Right? Are you starting to see what's going on within the world? Are you starting to see the direction that the world is headed towards now? Water, the most basic necessity for not even just America, but this entire world. The most basic necessity that we all need to survive is now getting ready to be rationed and taken away from us. You can't live without water. None of us can live without water. Not even the animals can live without water. This entire planet, water is the foundational source, right? Water is the foundational source when it comes to literally everything. And the elites, the system, they all believe that water is theirs to control, right? And quite frankly, when you really think about it, you start to see the signs of, you really start to see the signs of things changing, right? Remember when water used to be free when you go to restaurants? You go to restaurants, you didn't even have to buy anything. You didn't have to order anything. You could just order a glass of water and it was free. Some places are now charging 50 cents, a dollar 50, maybe even $2 for a glass of water. Right? Some people, some places, if you want a glass of water, you have to buy something, right? We are entering the end game here, ladies and gentlemen. We are entering the end game to where basic necessity, and I've told you that I've said this in my previous videos, I'll continue to say it until people start getting the message. We are entering the times where basic survivability, basic things are scarce, right? Basic things will be unaffordable, right? It's already gotten to a point where people can't even afford groceries, right? Food is scarce. People can barely afford groceries. People can't buy groceries that'll last them 2 weeks. What used to last them 2 weeks now only lasts them 1 week because they can't buy as much as they used to. Prices continue to go up, right? Food is scarce, right? Crops are dying. Water's being taken away. Okay. And one thing that I think people need to understand when it comes to this whole water rationing, this whole water control, first of all, however you pronounce it, Nestle, whatever that company is, has been doing it for the longest time. They've been rationing out water. They've been taking water away from multiple countries, continents even, which is one of the reasons why you see so many, continents, countries without any water, right? You see a water crisis, a freshwater, drinkable water crisis in so many different areas, right? Not only them, but BlackRock, Vanguard, we already know about that. The two companies that control the world, the tech oligarchs, the billionaires that control the entire, that control the entire society, that make the decisions, that help the elites make these decisions, right? They're trying to take away our water. They're trying to take away our basic survivability, our basic right and ability to live. This is the direction. This is the way the world is now. This is the direction that things are headed, that the elites want. They want total and complete control of everything and everybody, right? Once you control water, you basically control everything. Forget about money, right? You can't you can't do anything without water, right? Remember, health is wealth. Health is always number one, right? So, and water is essential to your health. So what are you going to do with all the money that you make if you don't have a means to use it because you're not healthy? We need the water, and yet here they are trying to take away the water, right? People forget. Think about this too. The data centers that they're trying to create, that they're already making deals with China, right? They're trying to build data centers here in the United States. That takes a lot of water. They're going to start taking away all the water. They're going to start rationing water to the average person, to the common people. Don't be surprised if you see, packets of water, being scarce. Don't be surprised if you start seeing, water going up in price, right? Because they need the cooling centers for the data. They need coolants for the data centers that they're going to create out here. Why? Because AI is taking over. All those things take up so much water, and they're going to need all the water. They're going to need water from you, from me, from everybody in the world, right? To fuel these AI data centers, to fuel their new plan to take control of the world, of society, right? And let's not forget to mention El Nino. I'm sure we've been paying attention to what goes on. You see what's going on in Europe, right? You see the heat wave that is literally killing people. People dropping like flies over in Europe, right? Record heats, and it seems like every single year, right? Every year during the summertime, around May, June, July, August time frame, right? You see on the news, especially in Europe, record heat wave, right? Record temperature, dozens dead because of record heat temperature. People can't go outside, people can't do anything. This is not a coincidence, right? This ties into the Venezuela earthquakes. Not only was it just in Venezuela, but it was in other places too. I think there was one in California, there was one in Japan, right? All these global changes, are a direct sign of things to come, of things to change, of the end times, right? El Nino, we're on course to have a super El Nino this coming season, right? And people are still thinking that, oh, all we got to do is, everything's going to be the same, nothing's going to change. All we got to do is wait for the right person to get in the office and they'll solve it. These people don't care about you. These elites, they don't care. They only care about fueling their new plan. They only care about themselves. Why? That's something that I don't understand, is that all of these obvious signs, all of these obvious things that are going on, and people still believe that there is a way that somebody else is going to come fix their issues. Somebody else is going to come fix their problems. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to leave my destiny. I'm not going to leave my life in the hands of those who don't care about me, those who only care about data centers and fulfilling their dreams to replace everybody, right? Create a slave class while the rest of the elites, live it up, right? They are literally deliberately testing us to see what we are willing to take. What is it that these Americans are willing to tolerate? We already saw it with the Epstein files, right? They're like, oh, well, if we can get away with if we can get away with being on the Epstein list and taking control of the world, well, we should be able to get away with this. And you know what I think, and you know what the sad part about all this is? And this is just my opinion. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I believe that they were waiting for something to happen, right? They were waiting for somebody to rise up. They were waiting for a group of people to rise up, to think, or to make some type of action, right? They were waiting for something to happen, but nothing happened. And they're probably just saying like, "Oh, that was easier than we thought. You know what? Let's just continue on with this." These gullible people, gullible Americans, these gullible, humans are gonna, they'll succumb to anything. They'll just obey, own nothing, and be happy because it's what we tell them to do. And it's sad. Quite frankly, it's sad because this is how comfortable we've gotten. This is how mellow we've gotten. This is how controlled we are. to the point where there is such obvious signs, right? You see everything going on in the world, the earthquakes, the heat wave in Europe, a super El Nino, yet we don't do a single thing about it. The data centers, right? They're taking away our basic, like the number one thing that we as human beings need to survive, water, and they're controlling that. They're taking that away. Yet here we are doing nothing about that. Oh, it's okay. Somehow, things will go get better. I mean, like, are you like can people really sit here and believe that? Right? They talk about they talk about the Iran war, like what's going on in Iran, right? Every other day there is a potential, right? A potential new deal. Oh yeah, there's a new deal on the table to have a ceasefire between the US and Iran. Oh, you know what? The very next day, Iran just, rejected the ceasefire because of whatever happened in the contract. Now they're back at war. The very next day, oh, there's talks about another ceasefire. Like it's repetitive. It's repetitive to the point where okay, if they have a ceasefire, it's just gonna get, shut down again the very next day, and we're going back to war, right? So at what point do you ask yourself, right? And this is me asking like any viewers out there, at what point do you realize that this world doesn't care about you? The people, the elites don't care about you, right? You have to take control of your own life. You have to take matters into your own hands. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. At what point do people realize that? But people are NPCs, right? Nobody's going to really question that. People are too busy with unimportant things, irrelevant things. Oh, racism, entertainment nonsense, trying to be the next big influencer, trying to trying to do something meaningless in their lives, right? People are too busy with the wrong things. People are too distracted, right? And that's why I said in one of my previous videos, the system played us. The system played society to a T, because this is exactly how it was designed to be. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Just give them distractions. Give them things to distract themselves. Give them things that will make them not think about what's really going on, right? You would think something like water being rationed, you would think something like them creating AI data centers and them literally taking drinkable water that we all need and putting them into data centers would wake people up. But I digress. If something like the Epstein files didn't wake people up, I mean, what will really? Because I guess people are fine with literal monsters controlling and running the United States, and nobody's doing a single thing about it. What can you do? What can you do? I'm just but one man who is taking control of his own life, right? And I'm just giving people the blueprint just to open their eyes, just to see life is more than what life is more than what's going on. You can take control of your own life. You can focus on the things that you want to do to live a life that you want to live. But obviously I can't force people, right? You can, like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to drink, you can lead a horse to the lake, but you can't make him drink, right? I can open people's eyes and have them wake up, but I can't force you to, take any action or change in your life. That's up to you. It's a shame. I mean, think about it. Think about everything going on, right? We are in the midst. We are due for something catastrophic. It's no surprise that things are happening the way they are right now. It's no surprise that all these whistleblowers are coming out. It's no surprise that all these hidden messages are coming out. It's no surprise that people are being more and more, numbed down. It's no surprise that people are, not wanting are in denial. Think about it. Think about all of these things that are going on in the world, right? We can't let them take our water away. We can't let them, you know, use us and then replace us, because that's exactly what's happening. So think about it and awaken yourself. This is the script to escape. Take control of your own life and do what it is that you need to do so that you can take care of yourself and your family. I'll see you guys in the next video.